Mr. Lim Biow Chuan.
Sir, for several years, I've organized anti-littering exercises in my estate during the Clean and Green Month. The intent was to highlight to our residents the need to be responsible for our environment and to keep the estate clean. But each year, the team of volunteers kept picking up more and more litter. We found cigarette butts, used tissue, plastic bags, empty bottles, food containers, bottle caps, etc. And one great source of irritation to many volunteers is a dog poo left behind by pet owners who did not bother to pick up the dog poo. Now, around my constituency, whenever there are any renovation works being carried out, I will also see plastic bottles left on the road by the workers of the contractors, plastic bag of drinks hanging by the trees, etc. To say the least, it is frustrating that the clean and green Singapore, which I knew some years ago, is no more. Even the volunteers for the anti-littering exercises seem to have gone down in numbers as they felt frustrated at the lack of progress. Last year, NEA reported an increase in the number of summons, and more than 31,000 summons were issued. With respect to NEA, it is not the number of summons which we need to look at. The question is whether NEA has been effective in reducing the litter which is thrown on the roads and other public areas. Is NEA effective in keeping Singapore a clean city instead of a city which is being cleaned by our thousands of cleaners? How do we stand as a clean city when we compare ourselves with the habits of Taiwanese or the Japanese? I would urge NEA to reconsider their entire program of keeping Singapore clean. If the existing efforts of NEA has not resulted in a cleaner Singapore, then perhaps we should review our efforts. May I urge NEA to push for more education in the schools on the need to keep our environment clean. I would suggest that every cohort of secondary school students undergo an annual exercise to pick up litter. This will help them understand the difficulties of the cleaner and also instill in them the discipline of keeping the environment clean. Can NEA also consider imposing a mandatory corrective work order for every litter bug caught instead of imposing a fine? And sometimes when I get residents who receive a summons, they complain that they have low income and therefore cannot afford the fine. So consider sending them for a mandatory CWO instead. For every foreign worker caught for littering, can NEA consider it as an adverse record when deciding whether to renew their work pass? So we need to combine our educational efforts with adequate punitive actions. This is to be fair to the rest of Singaporeans who take great effort to keep their environment clean and to keep Singapore clean.